My fiancée forgot to hang up a call, and I heard her mocking me with her affair partner, so I invited her parents over. Hi, I'm Travis, 33, and 5 days ago my ex-fiancée showed up barefoot on my parents' lawn, mascara running, screaming like she was auditioning for a horror movie. But let me back up to how we got there. Because this mess didn't start with her losing her mind in front of my dad's grill. It started with a phone call. A call she forgot to hang up. I'm a diesel mechanic in Fort Worth, Texas. Nothing flashy, but I make good money. Have a solid little 3-bedroom ranch I renovated myself. And until recently, I was engaged to Kelsey, who I genuinely thought was my forever person. We met at a friend's birthday bonfire 3 years ago. She had this quick wit, wild laugh, and the kind of chaotic energy that made you feel like life might actually be fun with her in it. She worked as a dental assistant, hated the job, but loved the paycheck. Said it gave her the freedom to figure things out, which should have been a red flag, but I was too busy being dazzled. The house I bought was a wreck when I got it. Rotting siding, sagging floors, a kitchen straight out of 1982. But I saw potential. Kelsey loved the idea of it. Said it felt storybook. She helped pick paint colors, scrolled Pinterest for backsplash ideas, even started a DIY candle business in the guest room. I thought we were building a life. A few months back, she started talking a lot about her old friend Dylan. Just a buddy from college, she said. He's going through a rough breakup. I wasn't worried. I trusted her. Trusted that when she said she was at girls' night, that's where she was. Trusted that when she borrowed my truck to run errands, she was running errands, not running off to see him. Then came the call. I was on my lunch break at the shop, elbow deep in a busted Cummins engine, when I dialed her to ask what she wanted for dinner. She answered like normal. Hey babe, can I call you back? Just heading into a meeting. Except she didn't hang up. I was about to end the call myself when I heard her voice, muffled but clear. He's so clueless. Honestly, I don't even feel bad. He still thinks I'm at Megan's. Meanwhile, Dylan's in the shower. Followed by laughter. Someone else, probably Megan, saying, Girl, you're evil. And then Kelsey again. He's like a Labrador. So loyal. So dumb. I might just let him propose and enjoy the ring a while. I didn't speak. Didn't breathe. Just sat there in the truck bay, grease on my hands, phone against my ear, listening to my future detonate in real time. And that's when I started planning. Quietly, carefully. Because if she thought I was dumb enough to propose, she had no idea who she was actually engaged to. I didn't say a word that night. Didn't confront her. Didn't throw anything or make a dramatic exit like in some movie. Instead, I grilled the steaks I'd picked up on the way home, just like I said I would. I even made that cheesy garlic bread she liked. She came in, kissed my cheek like nothing had happened, and said, smells amazing. I almost laughed. I smiled instead. Hope you're hungry. We sat on the back porch, string lights overhead, candles flickering on the table she'd thrifted last summer. She talked about her coworker's new puppy. I nodded along. Meanwhile, every word, every bite, every casual glance was cataloged and stored. I was building a file in my head. Exhibit A, lies. Exhibit B, manipulation. Exhibit C, me, cooking dinner for a woman who thought I was too stupid to know. The next morning, I called my buddy Marcus. He's a real estate lawyer who moonlights as the kind of friend who's already halfway to your house with a baseball bat when you say, I need backup. I told him everything. He paused, let out a low whistle, and said, You want to burn her life down, or just remove yourself from the wreckage? I thought about it. Remove myself. But I want her to feel it. So we went to work. First step, financials. The house was in my name only, thank God. The car? Mine too. The only thing we shared was a joint account we used for groceries and bills. It had about $3,400 in it. I pulled exactly half and opened a new account. No drama, just a clean split. I also changed the password to the Wi-Fi, logged her out of the utility portals, and turned off her access to my Netflix. Call it petty, but that's a modern-day separation. Next, documentation. I wrote down everything I heard on the call, timestamps, names, quotes, all of it. Marcus said it wouldn't hold up in court, but it would sure as hell hold up in the court of public opinion if things got messy. And then came the ring. I'd spent months saving for it. A cushion-cut diamond with a twisted white gold band, $7,800 straight from my overtime shifts. I hadn't proposed yet, thank God. But the ring had been sitting in my sock drawer for weeks, waiting for our anniversary. I returned it the next day. The jeweler looked at me with pity. Change your mind. I smiled. Let's just say she changed my mind for me. Kelsey had no idea any of this was happening. She went about her week like normal, texting me selfies from work, making plans with the girls, asking if we should get a new rug for the living room. I answered everything. Normal. Calm. Even offered to pick up Thai food one night, like everything was fine. She didn't know I'd also called her parents. Because if I was going to end this, I was going to do it in a way she'd never forget. Sunday, 3 p.m. My house. Her parents. Her lies. And the end of our little fairy tale. Sunday afternoon rolled in like a thundercloud. The house was spotless. Ironic, considering I was about to emotionally fumigate the place. I'd packed Kelsey's things neatly the night before. Not trashed, not slashed, not dumped in garbage bags on the lawn. Just boxed and labeled. Clothes, jewelry, Kindle crap, lies. At exactly 2:55 p.m., her parents pulled up in their sensible silver SUV. I opened the door before they even rang the bell. Hey, Mr. and Mrs. Langford, I said calmly, like I hadn't spent the last 48 hours rage folding her underwear. They looked nervous. Her mom clutched her purse like it was a lifeline. Her dad gave me that classic fatherly look, the one that says, I hope this isn't what I think it is, but I'm prepared if it is. We sat in the living room. No small talk. I passed her dad a piece of paper with notes from the phone call. His eyes scanned it. His jaw locked up. She really said this? He asked. Every word. And more. I just stopped writing after a while. Her mom's hand flew to her mouth. We heard Kelsey's car pull into the driveway at exactly 3:01. Late, of course. She breezed through the front door holding an iced coffee, sunglasses perched on her head, and froze when she saw her parents on the couch. What's going on? She asked, smile faltering. I stood up slowly. Go ahead and sit down, Kels. We need to talk. She hesitated, glanced at her dad, then sat. I stayed standing. I know about Dylan, I said. Silence. Pure, suffocating silence. I know about the 3 months. About the phone call. About how you were planning to say yes to my proposal just to enjoy the ring. I know everything. Her face crumpled in slow motion. First confusion, then horror, then an impressive attempt at innocent indignation. Travis, that's not. Don't insult me by lying right now. Her mom whispered, You told Megan you were sleeping with him. The betrayal in her voice was palpable. Kelsey's eyes shot to her mom. Wait, you told them? No, I invited them, I said. Figured if we were blowing this whole thing up, we might as well have witnesses. She stood. You ambushed me. You cheated on me. Consider us even. Her dad, normally a calm guy, actually raised his voice. You brought that man to our family barbecue. I shook his hand. Kelsey's jaw dropped. So what? You're all going to act like this is unforgivable? People make mistakes. I laughed. Actually laughed. A mistake is forgetting to grab milk. You carried on a full-blown affair, mocked me behind my back, and used me for stability while screwing someone else. That's not a mistake. That's character. She looked at her parents. Are you really going to side with him? Her mom stood. We're not siding with anyone. We're acknowledging what you did. And you are not moving back in with us. Her face went pale. What? You're an adult, her dad said. Act like one. And just like that, the illusion cracked. The control she thought she had, the narrative she thought she'd spin, it all crumbled. Your stuff's in the garage, I said. Boxes are labeled. Your car keys are on the counter. Oh, and the lease. Your responsibility now. I signed it over. You can't just erase me, Travis. I looked her dead in the eye. Watch me. Kelsey didn't leave quietly. First came the tears, big, wet, Disney princess sobs. The kind you'd expect from a woman whose kingdom was collapsing. She dropped onto the couch dramatically, coffee sloshing onto her leggings, like she was auditioning for a tragic biopic. Her mom didn't move to comfort her. Her dad didn't even blink. Then came the bargaining. Can we at least talk alone? She sniffled. Without an audience. No, I said flatly. Because alone is where you do your best lying. She stood and tried to hug me. I took a step back like she was radioactive. Travis, please. I made a mistake, but we can fix this. We can go to therapy. You don't get to we anymore. She blinked at that. I think it actually landed. For a second, the facade cracked, and I saw a real panic underneath. I'll give up Dylan. I already told him it was a mistake. You mean after your friends found out you were using him as a side quest while pretending to build a life with me? I stepped closer, lowering my voice. You didn't break it off because you felt guilty. You broke it off because the walls started closing in. That shut her up. Her dad finally spoke. Kelsey, get your things. You're not staying here, and you're not staying with us. She looked around the room like she'd just woken up in a stranger's house. Where am I supposed to go? I shrugged. Maybe Dylan's got a futon. She stood frozen for a moment, like she was waiting for someone, anyone, to step in. Nobody did. It took her an hour to load her car. Her parents didn't help. I didn't either. I stood in the doorway with a bottle of water and watched her make trip after trip from the garage, like some bitter version of moving day. The last thing she grabbed was a tote labeled craft supplies. She glanced back at me, eyes glassy. You'll regret this. I twisted the cap off the water bottle. Already feel better, thanks. She slammed the trunk. The car didn't start on the first try, which was fitting. When it finally sputtered to life, she peeled out of the driveway like a teenager who'd just lost a fight with her parents. I turned back into the house and shut the door. Her dad looked at me. Want a beer? God, yes. We sat in the kitchen, me, Robert, and Linda, drinking cold bottles of Shinerbach in silence. Finally, Linda asked, "What are you going to do now?" I looked around my house. My quiet, Kelsey-free, peaceful house. I think I'm going to finish that back deck. The first 48 hours after she left were the quietest of my adult life. No passive-aggressive sighs from the other room. No, I thought we agreed on white cabinets, not cream debates. No, why don't you ever post about me? Guilt trips after I dared to enjoy Instagram alone. Just silence. And silence, my friend, is delicious when it used to be filled with subtle judgment and the sound of betrayal in high heels. I did finish the deck. Spent the next Saturday morning cutting planks and listening to Lynyrd Skynyrd while Diesel, the neighbor's mutt who had basically adopted me, supervised with a half-chewed tennis ball. Sun was out, stain went on smooth, and for the first time in weeks, my jaw unclenched. Then the fallout started. Small towns have this magical gossip osmosis. You don't tell people anything. Somehow, they already know. By Monday, the dental office Kelsey worked at had turned into a real-life soap opera. A friend of mine's cousin worked front desk and said it took less than 3 hours for the phrase, engaged to Travis, but sleeping with Dylan, to make the rounds. By Wednesday, Dylan had ghosted. Apparently, cheating's only sexy when it's secret. The minute her mess became public, Dylan remembered he had options, one of which included not getting roasted by half the town for being the budget side character in someone else's train wreck. Kelsey tried texting me. Apologies. Essays. You were the best thing that ever happened to me level stuff. I didn't block her. I wanted her to see the read receipts. Nothing says, I've moved on like delivered. Seen. Ignored. She posted a photo on Instagram of her crying next to a candle from her failed craft shop side hustle, captioned, "Growth is painful, but so is betrayal." I nearly broke a rib laughing. The comments were brutal. One of her own cousins dropped a "girl you literally cheated" and got 112 likes. But the highlight? Her mom and dad didn't say a single word online. They just changed their profile pictures to ones that didn't include her. It's one thing to get ghosted by your ex. It's another thing to get soft-blocked by your own parents. A week later, I was elbow-deep in a Kenworth engine at the shop when Marcus burst in holding 2 to-go coffees and grinning like an idiot. "You're coming with me Saturday," he said. No hello. No context. Just caffeine and chaos. Why? Because you've been single for 10 minutes, and it's time. Time for what? Therapy? He rolled his eyes. Barbecue. My cousin's place. Lots of beer, 0 cheating fiancés. It'll be good for you. I wanted to say no. I wanted to go home, grill a steak, maybe rewatch Die Hard like a civilized adult. But Marcus had that look. The one that meant if I didn't go willingly, he'd drag me in my coveralls. So I went. Best bad decision I ever made. Marcus's cousin lived in this ranch-style place on the edge of town. Big yard, country music playing, paper plates already bending under the weight of ribs and potato salad. I grabbed a plate, claimed a folding chair near the fire pit, and prepared to silently people watch for an hour before ghosting. And then she walked over. Dark curls, smudge of grease on one cheek like she'd been fixing something, and the kind of smile that made you feel like you'd already said something funny. "Hey, You the guy who rebuilt that old Chevy they raffled off last summer? Depends, I said, wary. Is this about to turn into a complaint about the transmission? She laughed. No, I lost that raffle. Bitterly. Name's Rachel. I live next door. She sat down without asking, took a bite of coleslaw, and said, So, what's your story? I blinked. You mean, like, my story? She nodded. You've got recently emotionally sucker-punched written all over you. I looked at her, stunned. Then I laughed so hard I nearly choked on my beer. We talked for 3 straight hours. About tools. About dogs. About terrible exes and better days ahead. Turns out she worked as a vet tech, had a rescue pit bull named Moose, and once changed her own brake pads because she got sick of waiting for her brother to do it. Somewhere around sunset, she looked at me and said, So, are you emotionally available, or are we still in the damage control phase? I grinned. Let's call it early recovery, but I've got all my receipts. Rachel clinked her beer against mine. Good. I like a man who keeps records. Rachel and I didn't rush. We swapped numbers, not life plans. She texted me a meme about engine grease the next morning. I replied with a photo of Diesel licking peanut butter off a wrench handle. 2 weeks later, we went on our first date, nothing fancy. Just burgers, beers, and her dog trying to climb into my lap like we'd known each other for years. The weirdest part? No pressure. No weird silences. No pretending to be cooler or more spontaneous or whatever thing Kelsey used to accuse me of lacking. Rachel liked who I actually was, not who she could sculpt me into with enough Pinterest quotes and relationship podcasts. She met my parents about 2 months in. My mom hugged her like she'd just been rescued from a burning building. My dad didn't say much, but the man grilled an entire second rack of ribs just because Rachel said she liked them. That's love in our family. Somewhere in month 3, I ran into Kelsey. It was aisle 6 at the grocery store, frozen dinners and sadness. She was in leggings and a hoodie that looked 2 days past fresh. Hair in a bun, no makeup, pushing a cart full of instant ramen and Monster Energy drinks. I was there for steaks, asparagus, and the good pasta Rachel liked. She spotted me first. Her eyes flicked to my cart, then back to my face. Hey, she said. Hey. She lingered. You look good. I nodded. I am. Awkward silence. She picked up a bag of frozen corn she clearly didn't need. I heard you're dating someone. I am. She cute. I smiled. You don't get to ask that anymore. She winced. It was subtle, but I saw it. Travis, Nope, I said, grabbing the last pack of linguine. Whatever you're about to say, save it. You made your choices. She stepped back like I'd shoved her. I think about it a lot. About what I did. I screwed everything up. Yeah, I said. You did. And I walked away. Left her in frozen foods with her microwave sadness and her regrets. That night, Rachel made her famous chili, and we watched Jaws on the back deck under a sky full of stars. Diesel snored at our feet, and for the first time in a long time, I didn't feel haunted by what had happened. I felt lucky. 6 months after the Kelsey implosion, Rachel moved in. Not because we had some big Pinterest board plan or a countdown on the fridge, but because one night her lease was up and she was already here, her clothes in my drawers, Moose sleeping beside Diesel on the couch, and her toothbrush tucked next to mine like it had always belonged there. She brought a toolbox. Not metaphorically, a real, honest-to-God metal craftsman she'd inherited from her grandpa. In case yours ever sucks, she said. I nearly proposed on the spot. The workshop out back became our shared kingdom. I'd be tinkering with a busted carburetor, she'd be fixing the broken clasp on a neighbor's dog collar, or using my soldering iron to make earrings out of scrap metal. We weren't starting over. We were building forward. I heard through the grapevine that Kelsey had tried to move in with Dylan after everything blew up, but he ghosted her the minute public opinion turned. She'd bounced between couch surfing and a dingy studio apartment on the east side of town. The dental office transferred her to a different location after the gossip got too loud. Her parents still send me Christmas cards. Her mom included a handwritten note last time. We're so happy you found someone who deserves you. And we're so sorry for how it all went down. You were always family to us. I didn't reply. Some things don't need words. They just sit in your top drawer next to a ring box that stayed empty. The truth is, Kelsey thought she broke me. But she didn't. She handed me the matches, and I built a fire pit. One night last fall, Rachel and I sat around that fire pit, drinks in hand, dogs curled at our feet, and she asked, "Do you ever miss her?" I didn't even have to think. "No, I miss who I thought she was. But I love who I know you are." She nodded. "Good answer." We kissed. The fire crackled. The stars didn't ask questions. And somewhere out there, I like to think Kelsey finally figured out the difference between a man who plans everything and one who's just smart enough to know what's worth building. Spoiler, I'm still building. Just with the right person now. The end.